Today we're talking about propagating, specifically putting a kit together, a propagation kit, if you will. So when you're out, mobile, away from home, you're at the plant that you want to propagate to get a sample from, a cutting, that you can give that sample the best chance of survival and getting it back to your home and getting the propagation steps started, be it putting it in water, using root hormone, putting it in a plant soil of some sort. That's going to vary depending on the plant, obviously, and the type of cutting, time of year. But that's for another show. For this show, though, we're just talking about the simple kit. And stick around, because after I go through the simple kit, I'm going to show you how to bump that up a level, make it an expert kit, as well as for the frugal gardener, how to get more plants, more cuttings at a minimum impact to your budget. So to start with, a cooler bag. I'm using a cooler bag. You could use whatever you want for a cooler, but I'm using a cooler bag. I'm going to put an ice block in there. Want to keep things cool when my cuttings, samples are in there. Want to keep them cool. This will keep it out of the sun, especially if I'm keeping it in the vehicle. If I'm mobile, perhaps I'll get to stop and get some ice. Put that in there. I'm going to grab me some baggies. That's going to be part of the kit. And these items, so that I can keep my samples segregated and keep the cuttings wet with some napkins. The napkins, in conjunction with a spray bottle, I can spray the napkin, wrap the tip of my cutting, put that in my baggie, mark the baggie with my Sharpie so I know what I put in it. And then in between cuttings, I'm going to want to sanitize my cutting tools so that I'm not risking the chance of spreading disease. Pick your favorite gardening tool. Me, I have no favorite, depends on the plant, the item I'm working with. Love a scissors, love the little snippers, love the bigger pruner type clippers. So I'm going to bring all of these. A lot of people will go ahead and mark these with your name, contact information, things of that nature. I choose not to. I'll tell you why here in a minute, but I choose not to. We're going to bring these with us. And then I carry a bottle of water. I keep that in there. That way I have a cool drink if I need to get freshened up. If I'm parched and I need my thirst quenched. As well, if I run out of water in my spray bottle, I can always add some water to it, so I've got some sample there. So that's your basic kit. I've chosen a cooler bag that has a wrist strap or an arm strap so that I can carry it with me. Choose what's going to work best for you. That's a great way to start. Now, if you'd like to know how to bump this up a notch, stay tuned, because I'm going to continue. But wait, there's more. You want to save $1 or more? Avoid going to the nurseries. Grow your own plants through propagation. Go into the neighborhoods that have the plants that you want. They're growing by the streets. They're growing by the fence lines. Maybe they're growing underneath the kitchen window. Who knows? But I digress. Anyhow, go into the neighborhood. Know your neighborhood. Are you in a neighborhood where there's an older crowd? You know the type. They tend to eat dinner about 4 o'clock. They're watching Wheel of Fortune come 7, and by 8:30, they're off to bed. Sun's still out. Now's a good time because they're asleep. We're not going to disturb them. Now, you could just knock on the door, but then that means talking with people. And as introverts, that can be scary. So let's risk it instead. Now remember, if it's on the sidewalk, if it's hanging over the sidewalk, well, the sidewalk, that's owned by the same people that own that street. So be cautious there, but that could be an opportunity, an option. The other thing to look at is, so we talked about if it's an older crowd, you want to do that propagating, gathering those clippings in the evenings. If it's a younger crowd, you might be better off gathering those clippings in the morning. They'll probably still be in bed, or they may have gotten up and already off to work. Less chance of running into people. But know your group. And always just know you're going to be confronted at some point. So have some options. So in addition to the water for myself, I like to add a single serve glass of wine, a shot of liquor. The wine is great for the single mom, might be struggling to get through the day, everything's going sideways, or just a lot going on. Strike up a conversation, show some empathy, offer a glass of wine. That shot, especially in the evenings, maybe they've just had a hard day. Strike up a conversation, offer a shot, make a new friend. Read the room. Maybe a beer is a better choice. Keep that right next to the ice block, because you know what? If it's an 80-degree day out and someone's getting all heated because someone is taking clippings from their plants out front, maybe they just need a cold one. And then you know what? If you're dealing with an old guy, best way to get on his good graces, fresh baked cookies. So keep some fresh baked cookies in there, so you can offer one of those. No old guy's going to say no to fresh baked cookies. Now, as you're going through that neighborhood, just know trespassing is against the law. So make good choices when you're finding those clippings. So taking a walk through the neighborhood, you'll find many opportunities for propagation. This can be hanging from your shoulder as you're going for a nice stroll. I would park the car down at the end of the block, so as there's no way to find your license plate number, but also so you can save gas, so you can walk through the neighborhood. Good for your exercise, get your heart moving. I would recommend, if you're going to use that method of propagating, to make sure that you've got a good pair of running shoes. So if things do get out of hand, you've got a great way to get out, get to your vehicle. And if you've dropped your kit on the way, by not listing your name and number on anything, makes it a little more difficult for them to find you. Now, I would never recommend doing anything that would break the law. That would be illegal. Gardeners love to talk with gardeners. Many gardeners are introverts until you're talking to them about their plants. Strike up a conversation with Mr. Johnson in his front yard before getting that clipping of his gorgeous hydrangea, and make good choices if you're propagating and no one is around. Be discreet about it. Don't cut off a big hunk of the front of the gorgeous plant. Find something on the side, something down below, something that's not going to impact that. And then get those items home as quickly as possible and take the next steps to get the roots moving so that you can have a gorgeous plant. I hope you found this helpful. A kit is an amazing thing to have. Feel free to like, hit that subscribe button, and share. We all need to be a little more frugal when it comes to gardening. Lord knows, if you've been to the nursery, you know how expensive things are. And now is a great time to be propagating. It's summer currently, and things are growing, things are thriving. If you're watching this in the winter, I'm sure you've got plants in the house that need to be propagated. Now, some of the tips I've given may not work in the winter, because you shouldn't be, even with a bag of cookies and a bottle of wine, I wouldn't just randomly walk into other people's houses and start taking clippings. I would stay outside. I would stay at the edge of the property, ideally not on their property, and never be afraid to chat the homeowner up as you're getting that clipping. You guys have a great day. Check back. Soon I'll be showing you how to propagate hydrangeas, for example, and other plants as the summer continues. Take it easy. Happy gardening.